I'm Facebook Live, and I'm YouTube Live. How you all doing? Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. I want to give you all a quick update before I get to our great president, Donald John Trump. The Yankees, they Yankees won today. They won a doubleheader. Okay, they beat the Orioles, but they got to win these games because we're trying to gain. What up, Jonathan? How you doing, my brother? The Yankees got to win these games because we're trying to gain. What up, Michael? How you doing, my brother? These games are important, even though we're playing the Baltimore Orioles, is because we're trying to gain home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So right now I think we're 79 and 41. We're 79 and 41 with this doubleheader win, this sweep of the doubleheader. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Houston Astros, I think are 77 and 4. Let me see. Houston Astros are 77. Houston Astros are, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, they're 77 and 41. I was right. So we have to win these games. Very important. Very important. So, oh, you're a Met fan, Michael? Okay, hey, the Mets are making some noise. So we'll see what happens, right? You know, I love baseball. The Mets have some players, so we'll see what happens. It seems like they're playing some really good baseball in the second half. Exactly. We're going to get there in a second. So the Yankees are. Well, I hope you're right, Michael. With the grace of God, I believe that the Yankees are going to really make some noise, and I think they're going to push this thing. And I think Houston's going to have a problem with the Yankees. I think the Yankee relief pitchers are going to come through for us, and that's going to be our pitching. So that's what I think is going to happen. So obviously Houston's formidable. Cleveland is formidable. The Twins are formidable. The Red Sox don't look like the Red Sox have to have some turnaround in August for them to act. I think for them to, they still have a shot for the last wild card. And if the Red Sox get into the playoffs, they're dangerous, right? So the Tampa Bay Rays as well, they have pitching as well. So we have to throw our assets on the table as the Rays will, the Astros will, the Cleveland Indians will. We have some really good teams in the American League. I think, Michael, you're a Met fan. I think the Mets have a shot for the wild card. I really do. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a baseball fan. And the Mets have some players. The Mets are on the come up, and I think they have a shot. And the wild card is wide open, even though they have a lot of teams. They're fighting. A lot of teams are fighting for it. The Mets have a shot. I think they're playing the Braves tomorrow. That should be an interesting series. So that's where I'm at with that. The Giants, they're moving along as we creep closer to the NFL, the beginning of NFL season in the beginning of September. I'm gonna have a nice analysis on. I'm gonna try to analyze the New York Giants, and then we'll. As we creep closer in October, Michael, absolutely. As we creep closer in October, we'll talk about the New York Knicks, who I believe will make the playoffs this year if Fizdale gets his players to play defense. I believe that. The East it's not as absolutely, Michael. Me too. I'm a diehard Giant fan, and the Eastern Conference in the NBA is not as formidable as in the West. So that's where I am on my sports take right now. So let's get to our great president, Donald John Trump. He's doing it. Our great president is getting ready, locked and loaded. What up, Dan? Locked and loaded and getting ready for 2020. I think it's November 3rd, 2020, for his reelection. which I believe his trajectory is looking awesome, right? He's dealing with a lot of, two things. First, let's look at this. Now, this thing with Epstein and the suicide in the prison is off the hook. I mean, I mean, it is off the hook. Absolutely, Michael. This thing with this guy, the pedophile, and it's crazy. Andrew Breitbart, the great conservative media guy. I mean, he was ahead of his time. Unfortunately, he passed away 2012. That was another mysterious. That was a mysterious passing to some extent, right? He had tweeted in 2011. In 2011, the tweets were made public by, I think, the Washington Times. I don't have the Washington Times article in front of me, but Andrew. Well, okay, Jonathan. Wait. Okay, so Andrew Breitbart claimed in a 2011 tweet. That's what, 8 years ago. Why? Basically, I'm paraphrasing it. Why basically hasn't mainstream media been reporting about John Podesta and his underage sex slaves? I mean, that was Andrew Breitbart tweeting in 2011, 8 years ago. So today this whole thing with Epstein and this pedophile ring is beyond belief. And I tell you, it just shows the corruption in our United States government is beyond. I think it's beyond belief that when some of these things that are being purported right now it hasn't actually hit the mainstream media, the news cycle, but only God knows who's involved in this pedophile ring. It would be, I think it'll blow. I mean, the information could be like crazy. The names that could be involved in this thing, right? I mean, it's quite suspect to say the least. This actual suicide watch, and they're claiming, the published reports claiming that this guy Jonathan Epstein, he's committed suicide. Jonathan. Jonathan Epstein committed suicide. So that's the big controversy right now. Is that how Epstein at one time was on suicide watch apparently, and for some reason he didn't have a cellmate, and they didn't have the constant. I think according to published reports, it was like a 30-minute watch. So the armed guards had to go in apparently every 30 minutes to check, and he wasn't checked for hours, according to the published reports that I've seen on the Fox News channel. So I mean, I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, now I got you. You think it's the cover for protective custody? I don't know. Maybe you're right. It's something, in today's world, it's very plausible, right? It's very plausible in today's world, right? But according to Fox News, who to me, witness protection. I get you, Jonathan. I'm not saying that you're totally off base, because in today's world, quite frankly, I'm not. I don't like to, you could call me a conspiracy theorist, I guess. I don't know. I don't look at myself as one. I'm just being honest about today's world. There's deception everywhere today, right? So maybe, in order to keep things live, the people in charge of the information, the people overseeing the evidence of this Epstein case, this high profile, very riveting case on a alleged pedophile ring, like invoking and involving international politicians, big politicians, both here in America and internationally. So it's, you can't rule that out, Jonathan. I'm not saying you're wrong. You can't rule that out. Absolutely. But with that being said, we still have to take a wait and see if that's true. If the Trump administration or because Fox News is claiming that that it did happen. So we don't know. I mean, obviously you're right. I mean, I don't trust mainstream media. I don't trust mainstream intelligence. You're right. So I'm not saying that it's true is what you're saying, but it's not. What I'm trying to say is, in a roundabout way, is it's not out of the realm of possibility based on today's world and the amount of deception that's in the open source, the amount of deception that's in the mainstream media and the mainstream intelligence. So there's, I mean, you're not off base with that, Jonathan. Absolutely not. And who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that obviously I'm not saying that the Trump administration would do something like that. That's not what I'm saying or implying, or I don't know. But there is so much corruption, and our president has been dealing with so much corruption against him that after a while, I mean, and you got these people running through the mainstream news cycles. Some were claiming to be Trump supporters, and some claiming that they're not. Now they're not Trump supporters, and I mean, I don't know, Jonathan. We don't know that. We don't know what you wrote. To be honest, we don't know. What you're saying is you read it in the open source, or maybe you saw it. I don't know, but we don't know that for a fact, right? We don't. But I'm not saying now. Listen to me. I'm not saying that what you're implying can't be the case. Because it could be today. In today's world, the deception rules, right? So you're not off base, Jonathan, with saying maybe this could be a scenario, maybe claiming that maybe that in order to safeguard the evidence against the Obama Clinton crime family, which is probably bigly involved in this pedophile ring, right? And because I know AG Barr, President Trump's attorney general, said that they're going full throttle on an investigation on this suicide. So that's in the open source. And in addition, it's my understanding from my lefty friends that some of the lefty politicians think that this is really, really, really suspicious, and they're calling for a full investigation of this Epstein suicide. So we'll see what that all means. But and right, it's crazy, Michael. Now, please don't take me the wrong way. I'm not saying that Jonathan is totally off base with his analysis. I don't know. This is deception like beyond belief, right? This is deception beyond belief, and we don't know who's giving us the. So we have to take a wait and see. Apparently, he committed suicide the last time I checked. They were checked every 7 to 10 minutes. Oh, you work in a prison, Jonathan? Wow, good for you. Wow. Let me see. It says see more. I'm pressing on it. I'm not getting the whole thing. Who knows, right? Dan, that's interesting, right? That's what I mean. The list of names involved in his pedophile ring would probably shock us. The list of the names. So, I mean, it's beyond belief, right? Beyond belief. So we'll see. I mean, I want to be honest. I like I like I like I attacked the New York Times on this. We have a white Christian nationalist terrorist problem, and I don't have incontrovertible truth, so I put forth for all of last week, and I'm going to do some more this week, maybe not tonight, but reasons why I don't believe mainstream media, reasons why I don't believe mainstream intelligence. These are the reasons why. Claiming that we have a white Christian nationalist terrorist problem was the New York Times editorial board, comparing it to the global jihadi movement, which I thought was, we condemn racism, hatred, bias, violence, nonviolence, up and down. And we find these senseless killings horrific. And the same token too, we find the reporting on these events by the likes of the New York Times editorial board, the Washington Post editorial board, the Huffington Post editorial board, unconscionable. And for the whole week and parts of this week, I'm going to talk about why. I mean, I don't have incontrovertible truth, right? We don't have incontrovertible truth, right? But we talk about why we don't trust mainstream media, New York Times editorial board, because we're not talking about all the reporters at the New York Times, because that would be dishonest to say all reporters on the New York Times is corrupt. That would be dishonest. But you can say the New York Times editorial board is absolutely corrupt, right? Same thing with the Washington Post. Same thing with the Washington Post. It's like, the Washington Post is, not all the reporters at the Washington Post are corrupt, but the Washington Post editorial board is blatantly corrupt, as is the Huffington Post. Their reporters, I'm not saying every reporter at the Huffington Post is corrupt, but the Huffington Post editorial board is absolutely corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. Now, getting back to what Jonathan was claiming, that maybe the insiders on this case, from the DOJ, stage this. I mean, I don't know. We can't say that's true, but the point is, if something like that happened, would you be surprised? Would you be shocked that the DOJ staged a suicide of Epstein to protect the evidence and to protect Epstein? We can't rule it out. We can't rule it out because of the deception. I mean, if you believe everything that these media outlets purport, you're just barking up the wrong tree because of all the lies and the deception. Look what the president has gone through for the last 3 years. It's beyond belief, right? To the point where they were actually fixing federal. Not after he beat them at their own game, beating them at the election. They tried to fix the 2016 presidential election. I mean, that was a fix for Hillary Clinton. The fact that Hillary Clinton was allowed to run for president of the United States in 2016 is beyond belief, based on the stuff that's come out about the misuse of our weaponizing the intelligence community against candidates and Americans, and Hillary Clinton bought and paid for dossier that was the basis for the FISA warrants. Beyond belief, right? The Clinton campaign. Donna Brazile claiming that Hillary Clinton had the debate questions before the debate started, right? And then the fix in California on Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not a Sanders support. Hell no. But, this is America, right? People are entitled to their political beliefs, right? So could we at least have fair elections and a fair primary season and a fair election, right? The Democrats talk about all this corruption and everything like that. They have what they call super delegates. How do you think Barack Obama got his nomination in 2000? I think it was 2008, 7 or 8. How do you think he got it? He didn't garner the Democratic, basically, the Barack Hussein Obama didn't garner the Democratic nomination through the primary process. He didn't get enough delegates. They had to give them to him, right? The super delegates, which was first started to stop Ted Kennedy against Jimmy Carter, because Ted Kennedy was waging a campaign. Believe it or not, Ted Kennedy, was waging a campaign for the Democratic nomination for the president of the United States against Jimmy Carter, and the Democratic Party invoked the super delegates to stop Ted Kennedy. So that process within the Democratic Party was still kept in check, and it was used to get Barack Hussein Obama the nomination. Why am I not shocked? Right? Unbelievable. So the corruption with these elections, and then another thing which we haven't even addressed. I was watching this video with this U.S. Senate Oversight Committee questioning these big tech, talking about these big tech giants. And I forgot the gentleman's name. I think it was Dr. Epstein. I'm not sure, but he was an expert in this area of elections and social media, and he was a lefty too. And he was claiming at this. Now I'm trying to get more data on this. At this oversight committee meeting with the senators, they were asking him questions about Facebook, Google, Twitter, how much they influence elections. And this guy was talking like pretty confidently that he's aware of the data that like companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter could influence elections with like 10 to 20 million votes, like so easily. They can influence 10 to 20 to 30 million votes in the presidential election. It's true, Jonathan, right? I think it was Dr. Epstein, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a lefty too. And in this, I didn't get a chance to get more information because I'm going to bring it to the show. I was blown away when I was listening to these senators questioning this individual about what he felt about Facebook and Google and Twitter's influence on the presidential elections. Okay, and he brought up 2020. He said he felt that these tech giants could influence between 10 to 20 to 30 million votes. Easy. Search engines, I mean, algorithms, it's beyond belief. It's beyond belief. This is why, this whole thing is like one big circle jerk, man. That's why I tell you the truth. I look at things. I try to be as honest as I can, and I look at things as objective as I can. And my disclaimer is up there. I'm a Trump supporter from Jump Street. When President Trump on June 15th went down that escalator, we endorsed our great president. When he confirmed that he was going to become, he was going to conduct a campaign for the highest office in the land, the President of the United States, when he was an official candidate we endorsed our great president when he came down that escalator on 2015. And, he has the U.S. Senate. I'll tell you, I don't know, all the information on that. I have to know a little bit more about this individual. But if what he was saying, and he apparently was a big time lefty too. If what he was saying and what he was purporting is true, I mean, that's off the hook, right? That's like a big time game changer, like big time. So what are we doing, right? Everything is fixed, pretty much, right? They tried to fix the primary. They fixed the primary against Hillary Clinton's opponent. She got the nomination. They went as far as they tried to fix and frame and rewrite the U.S. espionage statute. So they invoked an element of intent that's not required by Congress for a felony violation, did James Comey, of the U.S. espionage statute, to enable Hillary Clinton to run for president. And then later on, he came out and he said, well, I'm going to reopen the Clinton email scandal. And she was mad because she lost and blamed it on Comey, right? Meanwhile, if it wasn't for James Comey, the fact that based on all the actions of the Obama-Clinton crime family during their reign of terror on this great country, on this great nation, their anti-American vector field is beyond belief, right? And then plus during this 2016 presidential election, all of the very questionable actions of the DNC, Donna Brazile, etc., Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign, and in the primary and in the general election, right? Yet when you talk to the mainstream media, the DNC, the Clinton campaign, it was President Trump and a Russian frame job, right? Meanwhile, it is beyond belief what these criminals did for 8 years in the White House and what they did during the 2016 presidential election. That me being an American, I love my country and how much we treasure our civil liberties, treasure freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom to politically assembly, right? Freedom to assemble, right? Politically, right? Peacefully, right? To peacefully question our politicians, question our leadership. That's American, right? Whether Democrat or Republican. But this stuff is like the assault on our civil liberties. And then we got this, and you can call me what you want. You can call me an Islamophobe, or a xenophobe, or, a neocon, or whatever you want to call me. But I am very concerned about this global jihadi movement. It is real. When you got politicians in America swearing in under the Quran, I'm concerned, right? And then we have vectors. You go to my website, frankierusso.media, americasteam.today. We got vectors that were used by 9/11 hijackers, and we mapped them, right? And then we when the Mandalay Bay shooting occurred, we found that vector and I mapped it. And then we looked at the other vectors that were in a radial direction around Mandalay Bay, and we felt that the U.S.-Mexican border was a fourth crime scene. And we felt that since the U.S.-Mexican border is the fourth crime scene, we felt that, and the federales shut that investigation down and wasn't allowing the information to come out, and they were basically fixing the timeline, mitigating the PR damages of this horrific Mandalay Bay shooting that nobody talks about, claiming that in the last go around with the mainstream media, they had it in the list of this New York Times hit piece in the editorial board claiming that we have a white Christian nationalist problem, and they included the Mandalay Bay in there. We don't really know what the heck went down over there, right? And that's par for the course of mainstream media. That's why I do this, because I just don't believe. I'm sorry, I don't have incontrovertible truth on these shootings in Dayton, which they don't have. Last time I checked, they didn't have a motive, and the shooting in which was right off the U.S.-Mexican border in El Paso, Texas, right? And what happened over there? I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not on the ground, but I'm sorry. When the mainstream media purports something like this, you're right, Jonathan. I believe that, because if it wasn't, and the evidence was very clear, they would have loved to say that it was a white Christian nationalist terrorist that did the Mandalay. They would love to have done that. Oh my God, it would have been like mainstream media, mainstream intelligence would have been all over it, right? All over it. But the vectors don't show that. So I had the vectors on my website, frankierusso.media, americasteam.nyc, and the vectors went from El Paso, Texas, New Mexico. There's a jihadi training camp, the Siraj Wahaj, the son of Siraj Wahaj, the 1993 unindicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. His son had a jihadi training camp in New Mexico, right off El Paso, Texas. And El Paso, Texas is a trigger for terror cells. And I talked about one with this guy with an FBI asset inside of El Paso, Texas, Imad Karaka, and this other Saudi national that originally resided in Florida, came from Saudi, Adnan al-Sharike Juma, and he used the vector. From El Paso, Texas, down to San Antonio, Texas, Houston, Texas. Then you got the vector goes parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system, Physics 101, freshman physics. It goes right into New Orleans, Louisiana, goes up through Macon County, Alabama, where the second jihadi training camp was, with the son of Siraj Wahaj. He ran that training camp as well. The FBI identified them. I'm assuming the FBI shut them down. And then from Macon County, Alabama, they go past Atlanta, Georgia, through Charlotte, North Carolina, into D.C. And the 9/11 hijackers had terror cells in San Diego, Phoenix, Arizona, and San Antonio. And they were meeting the 9/11 Imam in San Diego. He was there at one time. That's Anwar al-Awlaki. And they met him he was in Virginia as well, in D.C. And they met him in D.C. with that same vector, from D.C. through the Philadelphia Hamas conference to the streets of New York. Now, that same vector in 2000, 2001 was used by the 9/11 hijackers. We plotted that vector to try to explain what went down on the Mandalay Bay shooting, and that's on my website. Well, the New York Post in February of this year published that same vector, claiming that the Mexican drug cartel today in 2015, from the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York, are using that same vector that the 9/11 hijackers used in 2000 or in 2000, 2001, before the horrific hit on the World Trade Center. So this is why these things are so crazy, right? And why we talk about this stuff, and what we talk about deception, and because we believe if President Trump was the president 17 years ago, right, when the horrific hit on the World Trade Center happened, President Trump would have built a fortress. They would have allowed him to. They would have had to have, because everything was crazy then, right? Buildings were shot. Thousands of Americans were killed. Buildings were blown up, and President Trump would have been able to do whatever he wanted. With what he wants to do is build like a command center, build like a fortress on the U.S.-Mexican border. That's what President Trump wants to do, right? And there is militarization over there, right? There are drone bases. I don't believe they're weaponized. I don't know. I don't think they're weaponized. They're more for surveillance, I think. because we do know, according to the Penn State, the Penn State International Law Journal, the Mexican drug cartel 150 times, approximately 150 times per year, smuggles drugs through, they fly drones over the US-Mexican border, smuggling drugs. True story, right? Apparently, according to, that's a peer-reviewed journal article. So from the poppy fields of Mexico to the streets of New York, that is really what's going on over here. I'm not saying illegal immigration is absolutely is going on, and it's horrific to this country, right? People violating our laws. That's a definite problem, right? But it's like, it's really like the real thing, which is really keeping this thing open. Why I believe one of the reasons why, anyway, why this border is open for so long, even after September 11, 2001, you would think they would want to, the politicians would want to shut it down to keep out any possibilities of any radical Islamic terrorism to come through the border. The border's wide open because of those poppy fields, right? Only God knows the economics of those poppy fields in Mexico and the streets in New York. Only God knows. And that's why that's why I believe is the big ruse over there, is those poppy fields in Mexico. It's crazy. And that's why when Jonathan comes on the Facebook and the Facebook, well, I got some individuals in the YouTube live, but why people come on and people say some of the things that, Jonathan was saying, maybe that Epstein's not, maybe Epstein's alive and he was put in protective custody. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, I'm not saying that's true. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not out of the, in today's world, the deception is so profound. It's not out of, I can't rule it out. It's not out of the realm of possibility, right? It's not out of the realm of possibility. When we have, think about it, we have, after what this country went through in 2001, we lost upwards of 5,000 Americans, innocent killings for no reason, Allah Akbar, and blowing buildings up, right? They came into this country. They had a support system inside this country. Anwar al-Awlaki and company, Muhammad Atta. I mean, it's beyond belief, right? And unfortunately, they double banged the informants, the FBI informants double banged our intelligence community, and we paid the piper over here, right? September 11, 2001. 10 years later, the Obama-Clinton crime family is arming al-Qaeda foreign fighters all the way out in Libya with money, weapons, and training. 10 years after 9/11. That is, then I get lefties, and lefties will come to me and say, this is why I do this stuff, right? So I got lefties coming to me and say, well, what are you talking about, Russo? You're a neocon, you're a white supremacist, you're a xenophobic, Islamophobic. I get called all these names under the sun. ABC, forget about it. It was beyond belief, right? And then, they'll say to me, well, what about, that was the Libyan debacle was the Democratic thing, and the Republican thing was the Iran-Contra. Then, I listen to, because I try to, read up on, I try to do some research, and, Claire Lopez, she's a tremendous, she was a CIA operative for 35 years. I read her article on the Obama administration and the case of material support for Libya, where they switched sides. And she claimed, 10 years removed from September 11, 2001, the Obama-Clinton crime family switched sides. So the left says to Russo, well, the equivalent to the Obama-Clinton crime family's debacle in Libya was for the Republicans is Iran-Contra. Then when you sit down and you try to analyze and think about what they're saying, it's not an accurate comparison, right? The Iran-Contra happened in the 80s during the Reagan administration. It was a big thing, right? But that was pre-September 11, 2001. We were still innocent. We didn't even have the 1993 World Trade Center bombing yet. We were still innocent. There was still that innocence here about hits on our home soil. After September 11, 2001, that was, it's a different ball game now. It's a different ball game, It's a different ball game. Not to the Democrats, because right now the Democrats are the stealth jihad radical Islamists. The DNC is CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. I'm telling you. And the rhinos, Republicans by name only, you know who they are. They're complicit. They go along with it. Look at Adam Schiff, for example, and his close ties to CARE. And it goes on. The list goes on. It's beyond belief. So, Jonathan, hey, listen, I'm not saying you're right, but you certainly can't rule it out. That's for sure. You certainly can't rule it out. Jonathan, how do you know? I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but how do you know the Vegas shooting was an Islamist hit? What's your reasoning? I just want to hear your reasoning, if you have any. I believe I am trending towards a ISIS and Islamic hit. Absolutely. I'm trending in that direction. I'm not saying I'm statistically significant. I'm not saying I'm creeping toward incontrovertible truth. I'm saying I'm trending toward the idea that Mandalay Bay was an Islamist hit. And I got a few reasons for that. I talked about them a few minutes ago. I got the vectors, and I'm believing that it was. And then when I watched the amateur video, they were trying to kill the Saudi prince. Where did you get that from? How do you know? Right? How do you know? What's your analysis? Like, how do you know? I'm just saying, Savage. Okay. Love Mike Savage, but I don't know how we got that information. I love Mike Savage. I'm a Savage fan, like unbelievable. Savage is incredible, right? Maybe I love Mike Savage. So if Savage said that, then that's very close to being statistically significant. Savage is an amazing broadcaster. So I never. Well, whatever. I mean, I'm a Savage fan, so I think he's a great broadcaster. It's unfortunate he's not on the air. Where is he now? Is he doing? Oh, he's doing a podcast. You told me, right? I remember you told me he's doing a podcast. Okay, I'd love to see his data. Maybe at one point in my life I will. I'd love to see how he got to that point. Podcast. Oh, cool. Savage is great. Savage is great. So I think you have to, before you draw conclusions, you gotta, and I'm not saying, listen, people call us, loon jobs, lefties, conspiracy theorists, whatever, whatever I think okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe, I don't have the data. So in that regard, the actual reason, I mean, that's on the ground data, right? I don't have that. I just looked at it. I just looked at it from the analysis we had was had the vectors, the positioning and the position vectors and how they related, we felt that the local enforcement agents, we used the information that the local enforcement agents were providing the people. The federales got involved, they shut it down. I watched a radio dispatch. The cab drivers were picking up the people from the concert. It was horrific, and I was listening to the radio dispatchers and what they were telling their drivers. It was quite profound, claiming that there were shootings not just at Mandalay Bay, but in other locations. Right. So, and from the vectors, from the vectors, we surmised that it wasn't a lone wolf as they were purporting. It was this. There were so based on the vectors and the amount of movement from the position vectors, because we take these position vectors and we convert them into pipelines, human asset pipelines, uh, uh, logistical and technological support pipelines, uh, um, weapons pipelines, money pipelines. So we took the vectors in the radial direction around Mandalay Bay, and we just took the initial information from the local enforcement agents. I plotted the vectors. They're on my website, and we had Reno, Nevada, Mesquite, Nevada, and Mandalay Bay, and then we had a vector going from Reno, I think it's through San Diego, I think, into they went through San Diego, if I'm not mistaken, through from into Mexico, and we felt the vectors that a scenario would be that the let's say Stephen Paddock, the scenario could be that Stephen Paddock from his house drove to the U.S. Mexican border, bought because we know of the Mexican, we know of the Hezbollah weapon stockpile in the U.S. Mexican border in Mexico, Hezbollah. So let's say he went to Hezbollah and got 100 AK-47s, put them in his car, dropped off 50 in Reno, in his house in Reno, and his house in Mesquite. And when it came time to his plan to do the hit, horrific hit, unfortunately, he went to Mandalay Bay, went into the room, secured the room, and then the next day, I think it was October 1st was the shooting, unfortunately, the horrific hit. So he went there like 10 days before. He took his car, drove to Mesquite, took the 50 AK-47s that had human assets there, drove them back with him. So he drove back some human assets, right? And then, so that was that one trip. So he had human assets there waiting for him at Reno, and human assets waiting for him at his other home in Mesquite. Took the other 50 AK-47s the next day with some human assets and drove from Mandalay Bay to Reno and back. So we built this. So we had human assets and weapons at Reno that he got from the U.S. Mexican border, and human assets and weapons at his other home in Mesquite. And he built this military stronghold inside of Mandalay Bay. So very conceivable, right? So he didn't do this himself, I don't believe. Well, I'm just using it as an example. So something like that is definitely conceivable, right? So that rules out the lone wolf. So they're lying to us, right? It's not a lone wolf. This was a contrived, orchestrated attack. For whatever reason, I don't know, right? So we know that it was we know two things without getting the report, that it was more than that, it wasn't the lone wolf, and we believe that it was that the U.S. Mexican border was the fourth crime scene. Crime scene in Reno, just based on the initial information that came out by the local enforcement agents. The other crime scene was Mesquite. The other crime scene was Mandalay Bay. And the fourth crime scene is U.S. Mexican border. Now, if that's the case, the fourth crime scene is the game changer. It changes everything. So that's our analysis. And we're trending toward the way the whole thing went down. We believe, in all likelihood, in all probability, I need more information, but I'm trending toward that this was an Islamist hit. So that's my feeling on Mandalay Bay, right? And so Mandalay Bay, it was crazy too, because when I found out all of the drone bases that we have going toward the U.S.-Mexican border, probably surveillance. I don't know if they're weaponized. We have military bases like Fort Bliss on the U.S.-Mexican border. We have I think in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, an intelligence center. So I'm not sure if these various, like like Fort Bliss, like the intelligence center in New Mexico, and some of these drone bases that were around Mandalay Bay, because unequivocally there is militarization trending toward the U.S.-Mexican border from New Orleans, from Alabama, all the way down that vector, all the way down toward Houston, San Antonio, El Paso. There is militarization over there. So yeah, I mean, I'm on my couch, and we surmised it with the vectors, right? So that's what I'm trying to. This is what we do. I'm on my couch over here. You go to my website. You scroll down, frankierusso.media. Jonathan, have you ever gone to my website? Probably not. Go to my website, and you scroll down, because I have some of my shows on there, and you scroll down and you see the vectors. Those vectors were drawn in October of 2017. Those vectors are very clear. Oh, okay. At least you're honest. If you went to my website, you'll see. You scroll down my website, frankierusso.media, americasteam.today, and you see the way it's analyzed. That's how we do things. So I don't sit up here and conjure up, and like a broadcaster like Savage, who oh, I did. That's cool. A broadcaster like Savage, who I'm like, I think he's an amazing broadcaster. For him to say, I never seen his data. I'd love to see it at some point in time. Maybe I will. But I'm over here on my couch. Savage is an amazing broadcaster. He's been doing it for over, if I'm not mistaken, over 25 years, right? That's like Rush Limbaugh. He's another guy. Rush Limbaugh is like amazing. I think Rush Limbaugh's been doing it for over 30, 40 years broadcasting. I mean, his gig is incredible, Rush Limbaugh. So, so that's how I can't because I don't believe. We try, Jonathan. We try. We try. And I tell you the truth, we're close, right? We're statistically significant. I don't have a network. I don't have a network like Fox News behind me, right? Fox News is, arguably one of the greatest, if not the best, broadcasting network on the planet. Fox News, right? So a guy like Sean Hannity has the network. I mean, he's an amazing broadcaster, Sean Hannity, right? His shows are off the hook, Sean Hannity. My favorite Fox broadcaster, unfortunately, he's not on the air anymore, was Bill O'Reilly. Oh my God. Bill O'Reilly, arguably to me was the best TV broadcaster I've ever seen. Was Bill O'Reilly. His people would go to the TV just to hear his talking points. I'm not saying I agree with everything that Bill O'Reilly says, but he tries to be at least fair with our great President Donald Trump, and he is a great, great TV broadcaster. Bill O'Reilly was great. He was great. So, I mean, with all this stuff going on, who do you believe, right? That's the question. And you're right, Jonathan, to bring up, to say, listen, maybe this all was contrived, and maybe they put Epstein in protective custody did the DOJ. I don't know, right? We don't know that. I mean, but you're not wrong based on the way the world is today to think like that. The mainstream media, mainstream intelligence wants to call you a birther, wants to call you a moron. They want to call you a conspiracy theorist. They question like your intelligence. They question the fact that if you draw these conclusions, how could you draw conclusions like that? You got to be a freaking moron, they say, right? And when you think about it and you look at all of the lying and the deception and the cheating, money laundering that goes on in the world, who do you believe? That's why I put all my faith in God, man. That's why I'm with God. I believe in Christ. I believe in Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary. That's where I am. You know, I don't care. You know, I love, you know, I love my country. I follow this thing. I love broadcasting about it. I love talking about it to guys like you, Jonathan, and to hear what you have to say about it and see if we can look at all of this crazy world that we live in, if we can look at it in a more constructive way, where we can at least say, you know, we drilled down on it. We used reasonable analysis, and this is what we concluded. Now, right? I'm not on the ground, and I wasn't on the ground in Mandalay Bay. I'm not on the ground in El Paso, Texas. I wasn't on the ground in Dayton, Ohio, right? I wasn't on the ground in Ferguson. But man, was there a lot of misinformation, right? Look at Mandalay Bay. Oh my God. We couldn't even get, the federales couldn't even give us a report, which we believe would be lies anyway, right? Because they're fixing, that's obvious. You see, because what really goes on with these, unfortunately, and it's not, you know, there is a corrupt element, a corrupt wing inside the FBI, the Mola Comey wing. There's a corrupt wing inside the CIA, the Brennan Morrell Panetta wing. But not all CIA agents are corrupt. Not all FBI agents are corrupt, right? The FBI and the CIA has done some great work for this country throughout the years. But unfortunately today, there's a wing inside these intelligence agencies with the mainstream media that's very, very dishonest. Very dishonest. And just point to the attacks and the assault that our great president has gone under for the last 3 years. To think that Hillary Clinton did all that she did and her campaign did to fix and win the election, they couldn't help themselves because they didn't get the result they wanted. So they continued and they invoked and weaponized the intelligence community against Americans. This is crazy stuff. And they talk about Richard Nixon and his tapes. Richard Nixon looks like a puppy dog with all this stuff that went on with the Obama-Clinton crime family. Obama knew. They all knew what they were doing. Come on, man. Obama's one big fraud. One big fraud. That's going to come out. That'll come out one day. The Obama-Clinton crime family. Obama is one big fraud. He is not who he says he is. That's all I'm saying. I don't believe Hawaii. I don't know. But Obama is not who he says he is. Neither is Michelle Obama. The Obamas are frauds. We know the Clintons. Oh my God, the Clintons are beyond. I mean, they are such frauds. It's beyond belief, right? Then you got John Kerry, Eric Holder, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey. Oh my God, another fraud. What a fraud he is, right? Rewrote the federal U.S. espionage statute, enabled Hillary Clinton to run. She didn't win with a fixed primary, a fixed election. She didn't win. And what did they do? They couldn't help themselves because they're criminals. These are not stupid people. These are corrupt people. They could not help themselves. So they weaponized the intelligence community to stop our great president, right? And they lost that too. And now, oh my God, what's going on with these democratic socialists and you can't clap, and the gender, you can't talk gender. I mean, we're all one gender. I mean, this stuff to me, I just don't understand it. The world that we live in today is beyond belief that there are people that actually think this way. That, I mean, how are you going to get things done? I watched 10 to 15 to 20 minutes of that Democratic Socialist Conference, and I was like, I was mind-boggling that these young people actually think this way. You can't clap. You can't make noise because I got to think. I mean, it's beyond belief. The way some of these people think, and they're part of the Democratic Party. But I also blame the rhinos because they're complicit with this stuff. They want the division. They want the rhinos want what the Democrats want because they're eating and they don't have to worry. Let the Democrats they eat. The rhinos eat with the Democrats. The rhinos don't care about this country. The Mitt Romneys, I voted for Mitt Romney, and he's attacking President Trump. He's the president. He's the Republican president of the United States. He's the president of the United States. He's the Republican candidate for 2020. And Mitt Romney attacks our president. Paul Ryan, who I was a Paul Ryan fan at one time before President Trump. I was a Paul Ryan fan. I thought Paul Ryan was great. What up, John? I thought Paul Ryan was great. Man, what he did to Trump, President Trump during his first 2 years, he blocked everything. Well, it was him and other Republican leaders. The friction within the Republican House was very bad. Romney is so bad, it's beyond belief, right? And I voted for that guy in 12 with Paul Ryan. I like Paul Ryan. I really did. He went against Trump. I was done with him. Look at Jeff Sessions. Oh my God. Jeff Sessions was the first politician to support President Trump. He was actually on the campaign trail with President Trump. On the campaign trail with President Trump. President Trump wins. He wants Attorney General. President Trump gives it to him. He recuses himself from the Russian probe. He recused himself from the Clinton email scandal. He recused himself from Uranium One. He was just one big recusal in my life. I've never seen anything like it in my life. How people could be, I mean, the ruthlessness, the corruption. And then I got people coming into the room. Oh, Sessions is doing it for a reason. Watch. You're right, John. Sessions is doing it for a reason. I said, yeah, what is he, Machiavellian? I mean, are you kidding me? Over here, he's a Machiavellian politician. He's so, you can't, I mean, are you serious? He was a mole. Our great president never should have went through what he went through. That Russian frame job. If he had A.G. Barr in there, forget about it. No, I never did, Jonathan. I never did. I just, you know, I tell you the truth, Jonathan. I'll be very honest with you. But for the grace of God, go I. I'm a humble individual. I just like to, honestly, I like to look at some data myself, try to, right? Exactly, Jonathan, right? Exactly, John. Jonathan thinks that conceivably, maybe, right? He says that they may be doing a protective custody of the evidence and John Epstein. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can never rule today's world. You can't rule anything out. Anything's possible today. Think about it. Hillary Clinton got 200 plus delegates. She was close to becoming president of the United States with all the corruption the Clintons were involved in. from Arkansas to the White House. And then when she was United States Senator and when she was the Secretary of State, the corruption, the Clinton Foundation corruption is beyond belief. Only God knows the amount of cash the Clinton Foundation has in like Dubai or like in Egypt and some Iraqi bank or some Al Shalom bank in Al Shalom Islamic Bank in Sudan. The hundreds of millions. Only God knows. I mean, John, you're 100% right to question the validity of the data that's coming out on this Epstein thing. Absolutely, absolutely. When you think about it, right? The Clintons, right? Look at that fake Iranian nuke deal. 150 billion back to Iran. Well, you know, it was The Hague. They held the jet fighters. Iran gave them 400 million back in the 70s. Then the revolution came. They took 50 American hostages and we kept the money and they didn't get the jet fighters. So Obama comes along like the Shah of Iran and says the Hague says you got to fix this. So he fixed it. He gave them 150 billion back. And then he took 1.7 billion in cash, United States dollars, money laundered it to euros to get around the federal statutes. And nobody thinks there's something wrong with that. The mainstream media went along with all that hoax. Oh my God. So what happened was over here, the Obama Clinton crime family armed our enemies. Armed our enemies. And if we questioned him, we're a racist. If you question Obama, you're a birther. If you question Obama, you're Islamophobic. If you question Hillary Clinton, you're against your gender superior. I don't know, some crazy, you can't question anything because you're Islamophobic, you're xenophobic, you're white supremacist, you're a birther. Hey, I'm not even getting into that. I'm not a Bush fan, you know. I don't like the way they treated President Trump. I'm not a Bush fan. I'm not getting into all that. I'm just talking about the Obama Clinton crime family for 8 years, right? If President Trump was the president when Bush was the president, there would not be a fence there. There would be a fortress on the U.S. Mexican border. We would not be going through what we're going through with that border because we don't even know what the hell is going on the northern border with Canada. We don't even know what the hell's going on up there. We don't even know. Something like that, John. I don't know. All I know is, what time is it anyway? What's it about? 12 o'clock? I'm on here at 1 o'clock already. So people in my YouTube live, they're sending me some they're sending me some uh, just trying to chat. 1 a.m. Brooklyn time. I'm telling you, John, right? So, Jonathan raised some interesting questions, and you are too, John. You know, I just think that I'm just being honest. What is that? What did he say in I think it was Hamlet? There's something fishy in Denmark. Yeah, with that Epstein thing. There's definitely something fishy in Denmark over there. Oh my God. Something fishy in Denmark with that Epstein. Something fishy. So I think about 12:09. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? Let's see what the hell went down over there, because I don't know, right? We don't know. They're claiming it's suicide. Hillary Clinton. John, did the Clintons at all make a comment about the Epstein? I'm just curious. Probably not. Well, that's part of what we're talking about, right, John? We were watching the power of the tech companies like Facebook, Twitter, and Google, and the power they have. You're right, John. The power they have. According to the Senate oversight committees, they can take, like, in this upcoming presidential election in 2020, they can influence 10, 15, 20, 30 million votes. That's unbelievable. That's scary. Their influence. That's scary. They said the algorithms, the search engines. I don't know. Beyond belief. Right? Beyond belief. So it's going to be crazy. This 2020 election is going to be nuts. Right? I'm not shocked. Why am I not shocked? So let's see what they're doing over here. I got this YouTube thing. Wow. Straighten out Brooklyn. Oh my God. Some of these people that come into the some of these people that come into the some of these people that come into my YouTube live are really whack. I tell you, really whack. Unbelievable. So I'm just gonna blog this thing. So that's YouTube Live. I saw that Glaber. Boy, was it Glaber Day, huh? It certainly was Glaber Day. Yeah, the Orioles in last place, right? But we got to win these games because we're trying to. I think Houston's 77-41. We're 79-41. So we got to win. We got two more games with Baltimore. Then we got 4 games with Cleveland. So if we can win the next 2 games, that'll make us 81-41 because we want home field advantage throughout the playoffs. With the grace of God, Game 7 in the American League Championship game will be in New York, and then from then we got Cleveland the weekend. 4 games with Cleveland. So if we can win 3 out of 4 or split, we're doing good. They're trying to get me into a chat over there. I'm gonna get. I think I might. So we'll see what happens, right? Well, the way it's looking, we got how many games left? Let's see. It's 78-41. That's 119 games, 162. We got 43 games left. If we split and go 20, if we go 21 and if we go 21, if we win 21 or 22 of, say we win 22 games of the next 43 games and lose 21, we win 100. We can win, if we have a nice run, we can win 30 games of the 43, and we won 108 games. So we can win between 100 to 100. I think we're going to win between 100 and 110 wins. Between 100 and 110. So the Yankees, the last 3 years, we were one game. We could get to 110. Yes, we can. Because there's 43 games left. 43 games left. We could get, if we win our next 2 games against Baltimore, we will have won. No, I'm sorry. There's 42 games left. I got it wrong. I think we won 79. We're 79 and 41. Right. We're 79 and 41. So that gives us 120 games. There's 42 games left. So with 79, if we win 21 games, we win 100. We won 100 last year. We lost to Boston in the division series. We were one game from making the World Series in 17. For the last 3 years, the Yankees have been quite an extraordinary ball club the last 3 seasons. Quite extraordinary. We don't get the credit. Judge should have got MVP in 17 over Altuve, I believe. Jose Altuve was a very good baseball player. But Judge was more valuable to the Yankees than Altuve was. George Springer was just as good. George Springer does what Altuve does, right? That's like what Mookie Betts. 31-11. We get 110. We get exactly 110. 31-11. We got to win 31 of the next 42 games to get 110. We could do it. I think J.D. Martinez should have got MVP this year for the Red Sox. Mookie Betts is a very good baseball player, one of the best. But Benintendi does pretty much what Mookie Betts does from the left side. J.D. Martinez was valuable. Batting third or fourth, he was the ribby. He should have got it. When they signed J.D. Martinez right before the season last year, that got them the World Series. Like Houston signed Justin Verlander 2 weeks before the season was out. If the Yankees would have done that, Baseball Writers of America would have been up in arms. The evil empire is buying a world championship. Truth be told, J.D. Martinez should have got the MVP last year. Because Mookie Betts, great baseball player, Benintendi, man, they do the same. They do the same thing. Right? J.D. Martinez was the guy. He was the main clog in that lineup. And then they're starting, honestly, their starting pitching, Boston starting pitching was very underrated. Because when you look at it, Boston had they had Verlander, Cole, Keiko, they had Morton, they had some rotation in Boston, right? And, to Houston. This year, I don't know. I tell you the truth, a Yankees got to be in the conversation. I'm not saying they're going to get it, but a Yankee should be in the conversation. Maybe a DJ LeMahieu. I'm not saying. I don't know. I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. DJ LeMahieu. He's a tremendous baseball player. Tremendous baseball player. Right. DJ LeMahieu, I think, from the Yankees side. But there are other baseball players. I'm not, I follow, but I to my Tampa Bay, Minnesota. He's the most valuable Yankee, absolutely, John. Minnesota's got a few. That Nelson Cruz is interesting. I don't know, and Cleveland. I don't know. Cleveland's got a few banging players too, and Houston. That Bregman. I don't know. He's probably having some season. That third baseman for Houston's probably in the running too. So that's on the American side. In the national side, I think the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to be the team in the National League. There aren't too many good teams in the National League. That's why I think, um, not to take anything away from the New York Mets, but the Dodgers. After the Dodgers, there's a big drop off in talent and teams. Team talent. Like the Brewers, I think have a nice team, but they don't have the. They have some issues. The Milwaukee Brewers, I think, have a nice squad. But I think the Mets are on the come up. They may make some noise in the National League. At least make this one of the wild card spots. I think the Nationals have a very good baseball team. Oh, Clint Frazier, I think, is an amazing baseball player. I think Clint Frazier could be an amazing baseball player. I really do. It's also him too. I think they do. I think they want him to work on his defense. I think they do. But it's going to be interesting if the Yankees win the World Series this year, they win the World Championship. It's going to be interesting what they do with DD and Dylan Betances, because Betances is a free agent, and so will DD be. And they have Gleyber Torres. You have hopefully they extend DJ, and then you got Urshela, and you got Miguel Andujar coming back from injury. Guy's some hitter. Clint Frazier, some ball player. I mean, what are we going to do? I don't know. Depth is important in this game today, right? The way it's played. I think the Yankees like Frazier. I just think that look at Mike Ford, right? I think Mike Ford could be a professional hitter without a doubt. But you know what kills me with the Yankees? No room for right. Didi's a nice shortstop, man. Didi's a nice baseball player. But what kills me with the Yankees is the way they handle the pitching. It drives me crazy. I was watching Paxton today. Oh my God, what they're doing to this guy, right? Just on sheer body language. This guy's he does this, right? He has the glove here, his glove hand. He's all deception with a 97. His glove hand is here. Then he gives you this. I mean, he's all deception. Paxton with a 97, right? Yeah, the Yankee farm system, but with the pitching, they don't have the Yankees don't have they produce the everyday players, but they don't produce the like who they produce. Relief pitches, okay, some starters, not many, right? Legitimate starters: Guidry, Pettit, and Severino, right? The Yankees use because they don't have to pay. Yankees don't have the patience to wait to build because pitching, it takes patience. Herman, okay, Herman was on his way last year, right? Domingo Herman, but Domingo Herman he's going to have to Domingo Herman because everything is so analytical today. Unfortunately, they're not robots. These baseball players, first of all, and I don't think on an overall basis, I don't believe that they're using the analytics properly, right? Because like for example, pitching is a feel thing. It's feeling. It's a feeling. It's what you have on that day, right? You got to whatever you feel. Whatever you're throwing that day, whether you feel your fastball better than your other stuff, it's a feel thing, man. So pitching, you can't just look at an analytical sheet and look at all these different aspects of pitching and say, well, you're going to create a pitcher, and that's the problem. Because to me, it all starts and ends with fastball command, and the pitcher has to feel the ball go through the biomechanical aspect of it and then release the baseball, And some of these kids, I was watching the perfect team or something. It was like young high school kids, and these kids are throwing 95, 96 miles an hour at 16, 17, 18 years old. Freaks, sick. You got to see these kids pitch. No wonder why by the time they get to Major League Baseball, their arms are. I mean, it's just unbelievable the way these kids throw. Amazing. I was amazed how good they were. I really was. I'm not gonna lie. But what the Yankees do to pitchers, I could take a guy like Paxton, just to stay on the topic now. Take a guy like Paxton. I love this. Paxton's got this going on, right? He shows you the glove, then he gives you the hand, right? He's really good at it, Paxton. Paxton right now is in a quandary. He was a four-seamer. The Yankees get him. They want him to throw more breaking balls. I'm not sure he's totally sold on it, right? Just tell him by his body language. His pace is too slow. He's given up now. He gets two strikes on the hitter, and he's given up home runs. He did it today. I don't know if he's got a put away pitch. I don't, or does he believe he has a put away pitch? Because he could be a lot better. I believe Paxton could be a lot better. And you got to fix Paxton don't want to throw the baseball. He takes too long. All the great pitchers want to get the ball and throw it. He thinks too much. Right now, Paxton is thinking too much. Sonny Gray, they ruined Sonny Gray, right? Sonny Gray, I mean, forget about it, right? Lance Lynn. If we had Lance Lynn right now and Sonny Gray on the front end, Lance Lynn is an animal. Paxton is an animal. Paxton has to get back to Paxton, right? To me, the Yankees should. How do you get Paxton out of? Because Paxton right now is looking for a comfort zone, right? Paxton has to. I believe he has to. If Paxton's legs are not, if he's okay in the leg area, he has to get more violent with his mechanics, with his legs. And for the first time, the next time he pitches, they should have did it against Baltimore. He pitches against Baltimore. It would have been great for him to just air it out the first, not put all your assets on the table, but the fastball. Let's get the fastball command. Let's do the first time around. We throw the ball, we throw the out of the ball, right? And throw to the spot that the catcher wants you to throw. Paxton pitched today. So to get him out of because right now he's in his head. His problem is his head. I don't think he's totally bought into this breaking ball that they're trying to say, the curveball. He's a better pitcher because he throws his curveball more. No. You want to get Paxton to feel like Paxton. He don't feel like Paxton right now, right? How do you do that? I think the first time around, you tell Paxton, I want you to throw the out of the ball, right? To the spot. Throw that ball, whatever the catcher wants you to throw it, you got to hit it to the best you can, right? He gets two strikes, you go to the changeup. He's got to get something going down, right? His changeup isn't bad. Lay off the curveball the first time around. Paxton, throw the out of the ball the first time around to the hitters. Up, down, in and out. You get two strikes on the hitter, I want you to throw the changeup going down, out of the strike zone. Get that going, right? So he'll get swings and misses on the fastball up because he's got a great four-seamer, and the changeup going down. But he's got to go in a half. And I don't know if Booney isn't doing it already, or if he's doing it or whatever. He should be going to the umpire and tell him, listen, my pitches are going to throw inside. I want that inside call. You should put the umpires on notice. My pitches are throwing inside. All of the opposition pitches, John. Voit got hit in the face. Didi was jumping on a slider to the back of his leg. They were throwing inside to Didi. They're throwing inside. They're wondering why Judge's in a slump. He don't want to get hit in the hands. They hit Encarnacion in the hands. They're throwing Judgy inside, right? Urshela today, they had him go all over the place, jumping up and down, throwing at his legs, everything like that. We need pitches. I'm not saying throw behind the head. I'm not saying hit him in the head, hit him in the face. I'm not saying throw at them, but we need pitches that are going to throw the ball inside. Paxton brings it inside. He's got to continue to hit the inner half. And Booney's got to go to the manager and tell him, I want that call. I want the inside pitch called. We're going to go after the inner half. To win in Yankee Stadium, pitcher's got to go. Now, the fastball inside keeps the hitters honest. Because when you got hitters swinging from their heels, like when Houston came in town in the beginning of the season, Altuve was swinging from his heels because we don't throw the ball inside. Throw the ball inside. I'm not saying you got to hit them in the head. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking in the hands. You got to get the ball inside. You got to show them that to keep them out. Then you go back to the outside, inside, up, down. Paxton's got all that. Paxton's got high-end stuff. Paxton's got high-end stuff. But the way they're coaching him, he don't feel like James Paxton, like a stud. That's why he's miserable. He's miserable. He don't want to even throw the baseball. The great pitches, I've seen a lot of great pitches, and they can't wait to throw the baseball. Watch Tommy Kayley. Watch Tommy Kayley's body language. Watch Tommy Kayley's body language. His body language is off the chain. That guy can't wait to throw the baseball. Paxton gets the ball, holds it. He's going to make this perfect pitch. Baloney. You get the baseball. I want this guy. You got to tell this guy. Tanaka? I like Tanaka, okay? I think he's a tough guy, right? He's up and down because he relies on his splitty, right? His splitty is his big pitch. So when it's on, it's like Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán's big pitch is the curveball. Domingo Germán don't throw enough fastballs. Neither does Tanaka. So they Tanaka relies on a splitty. So when his splitty is on, he's really on. When it's not on, forget about it. He's lost. It's like Domingo Germán. Against Boston, his deuce was off the hook. Right? His deuce was off the hook. Recently, he didn't have his deuce. He was lost. Right? He don't throw enough fastballs, does Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán should be working on his fastball, up, down, in, and out. If he ever worked on his fastball and threw more fastballs, his secondary stuff, because he's got tremendous secondary stuff. So either he's going to go the fastball route, Domingo Germán, if he wants to get better, or he goes for a softer curveball. So he's got the 80-plus curveball, and then he brings in a softer one later on, like Zach Greinke does. That's how you do it. Because right now, Tanaka and Domingo Germán, I don't trust them. Paxton, I can't trust. Paxton's not feeling like Paxton right now. The Yankees don't have Paxton feeling like Paxton. Paxton don't feel like a bulldog. And he has bulldog stuff. He don't feel like it. They got him feeling like he's half the guy he is. That's why he takes so long to throw the ball. I never seen a guy give up so many dingers off of he got 0-2 count. He's giving up a home run. You can say what you want about the Rocket. Roger Clemens, oh my God. He gets 2 strikes on you, you're gone. Pedro Martinez, you're getting chin music. Now, I'm not saying that's the way you should pitch, but these guys were intimidating, right? Roger Clemens was intimidating, right? These were intimidators. Now, I'm not saying we got to do that, but I'm just saying, you can't have hitters leaning over the plate, swinging from their heels in Yankee Stadium and expect for them not to hit home runs. I'm not saying you got to throw at these guys, but you're going to have to. And Booney, we're playing Baltimore right now. So Baltimore's Baltimore, right? What about Cleveland? Cleveland's got some bangers. Cleveland can hit, and they can pitch too. You got to be Booney. Booney's probably doing it. I'm not saying he's not doing it. I don't know. But he should be telling the umpire, I want my pitches are going to go after that inside strike. I want that inside strike. Because we're not saying to throw at the hitters. We're not looking to ruin somebody's life. But Tanaka's too much. See, because Tanaka relies on that splitter, everything is down. He don't throw the fastball enough because that could be the 4-seamer up. So he changes the eyes of the hitter, up, down, in and out. He could get swinging strikes up with the fastball high in the strike zone. I saw the guy from Baltimore tomahawk. That's very hard to do. That's why I think Paxton's got some great stuff for Yankee Stadium. But they got him. He's lost confidence in who Paxton is. Paxton's a 4-seamer. He throws 97 at times. He throws 99, 100. It's like he's almost like a lefty Severino, really. And what they did to Severino, I mean, they got him throwing breaking balls and change-ups with a 99. Are you freaking kidding me over here? With a 99. 99 miles an hour fastball Severino has. I don't. Hopefully, he still has it, right? He's got what seven baseball players behind him, and by and large, generally speaking, I don't have all the numbers in front of me, but I think by and large, well, I think the Yankees are gonna, we win 2 games. We win more than 2 games against Cleveland. That'd be awesome. We're in Yankee Stadium, John, right? So we got to see what the pitching's going to do because Boston could crack. Boston cracks. They could hit. I mean, Cleveland. Cleveland could hit. Look what they do with Luis Cessa, right? Luis Cessa's got a 95, 96, and he's got a great slider. He throws 20 sliders in a row. They're hitting bombs. He's walking batters. They're hitting bombs. He almost put the. We were winning 8-3. He almost put the. I think he put the tying run to the plate. Almost put the tying run to the plate. They had to take him out. Well, he's pitching good recently. I mean, come on, man. He comes in there. He's got a 95. Instead of working on this guy's mechanics on his fastball and try to get more violent with his mechanics, get more out of his fastball, because the way you're going to help these pitchers, take their strength and make it stronger. Take what they do and make it better. Not get they're throwing 4 seamers. Now you got to start throwing breaking balls. He threw a 1-hitter against Boston, did Paxton at the beginning of the year. Paxton's a better pitcher now. He throws curveballs on fastball counts. They're off his fastball. That is so ridiculous. Look at Chapman. Chapman throws 100. Chapman says, "Here comes the mother fastball," and then he drops his dinky slider. It's not an elite slider. He just gets away with it because his fastball he's got so much commitment. See, the thing about it's all about commitment to your stuff. A lot of these baseball players forget how they got here. And they start listening to all these gurus. He's a guru. This one's got a computer. He's a guru. This one's a guru. I'm going to show you how to win. For my computer. And, there's no bigger numbers guy than Russo. But the game of baseball is like hitting. If you don't trust your hands, you don't stay back and trust your hands, you ain't going to hit. Right? It's the same thing with pitching. You got to trust your stuff. You got to go with what brung you here. It's like Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan one game threw 249 pitches in one game. Come on, man. Please. Everybody in the stadium knew what was coming when Nolan Ryan pitched. The Yankees got a great team. The everyday players they're savages. I'm just concerned the way the pitchers are being coached. When I saw Paxton today, he looked lost. People always went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, gave up 2 or 3 runs. He pitched a great game. He looked lost. He was not happy. He don't look like he's happy at what he's doing. He don't look happy. The body language don't tell me that. And the fact that he holds on to the ball so long, he's trying to throw a perfect pitch. I don't know if he's totally bought into what the Yankee coaches are trying to tell him about what he should be throwing. I think that Paxton he's got to establish himself. He's got to feel like I think you got to let him throw out of the ball the first time around. Fastball, up, down, in and out, and then bring in the changeup to put away the hitters. Because he gets too many 2 strikes, and you don't have to put away pitch, or maybe he has one, he don't use it. I don't know, but he doesn't have that. The Rocket get 2 strikes on you, son, you're getting struck out. Pedro Martinez, another guy, nasty. Lance Lynn is nasty. Paxton, right now they're trying to turn him into a pussycat. Little pussycat now. That's why he's like holding a baseball. He doesn't know what to do. Watch Tommy Kaling when he comes in. The body language tells everything. He can't wait to get the baseball. He can't wait to throw it again. There you go. Greg Maddux. Oh my God. Greg Maddux got into a rhythm that he had signs with his catcher. That the catcher didn't have to drop a sign. He knew what he was throwing before they sat there. As soon as the hitter was in the box, he was throwing. That's what we're talking about. Not Paxton. Paxton holds the ball. He's thinking. That's his problem. And then between the coaching, what they're telling him to do, forget about it. They're trying to take this guy and make him into, so they try to make these guys into Each pitcher is an individual. Pitchers are like boxers, you know. They get, they win the spot. Sometimes they get hit. They get knocked down. The great pitchers get up. You didn't make it to the Yankees, donning the Yankee pinstripes, if you don't get the up, right? These guys, some of these pitchers are tough, right? Because as hard it is to hit, the pitchers are under with the baseball, the umpire, and the many variables involved in this game. You got to be one tough dude, really, to pitch in the major leagues. You're donning those Yankee pinstripes is the reason why, especially as a pitcher. They don't train them. They train pussycats. They want to be pussycats. That's why Paxton's holding the baseball. Paxton gets 2 strikes on the hitter. He's holding the baseball. You don't know what to do. Watch the Gator, Ron Guidry. When Ron Guidry had 2 strikes on you, that slider was so nasty. Oh my God, that's what I mean. I don't see it with Paxton. Sometimes it'll take him 6 pitches to strike the guy out. You know what I mean? The Rocket. You can say what you want about Clemens. I mean, whatever. I don't know. PEDs, whatever. I don't know. But the Rocket he was an animal, man. He was nasty. When he was on that mound, he was nasty. Pedro, nasty. Oh my God. Pedro Martinez, nasty. Right now, we're breeding pussycats right now. Domingo Germán. Love the kid's stuff. I don't know, man. So I think we're going to win this thing. I'm not trusting our starting rotation. We're going to win this thing with the relief pitching. They're going to have to adhere to a system when it comes playoff time. Is Booney. Booney's going to have to be a savage with the pitches. A savage. He's got to practice now. They got to practice. Get this in line. Nothing personal. Booney's going to have to be a savage with the pitches. I don't trust. We cannot risk. In other words, we can't risk a big inning. We can't allow. Clemens was very aggressive with 2 strikes. He put you away. Rocket was nasty. What drives me crazy, Paxton is throwing 3-2 breaking balls with nobody on base. Yankees are winning. He's throwing 3-2 breaking balls with a 97, 98, 99, 100. Challenge them. Let it go. Let that fastball go. We don't need he's trying to a perfect pitch. He's too much in his head. I don't think he trusts what he's getting from the coaches, and I don't think he trusts them. And that's the problem, I think. Let Paxton be Paxton. Paxton, you got to let this guy bring. I want fastballs the first time around, and then you get 2 strikes, you drop the changeup down, bounce it if you have to. Paxton could be a tremendous asset for the Yankees. Tremendous. He's got tremendous upside. Yeah, I think that's part of the problem, John. I do. I think that's his problem because it's a small stadium. Chad Green has that issue. Chad Green's another guy. Oh my God, what an arm that kid has. Chad Green's got some arm. Oh my God. Sick. Got to let that ball go sometimes. You got to do a little Chapman. Sometimes he just doesn't know where the hell the ball is going. But Chapman don't give up. The thing about Chapman, he's grit. He's fearless. He don't give up. He doesn't. Sometimes he's got control, and sometimes he just doesn't know where the heck the ball is going. So they call that effective wildness. He is one nasty. Chapman is nasty. He gets away. See, he got lucky when we were in Toronto, that 1-0 game, because he shook off Roma. He went to the breaking ball, and that guy Guerrero fouled it off. It was almost a home run. He went to the hanging breaking ball. You got to go with your best stuff, man, especially when the game is on the line. You got to go with the 100 mile an hour. and then talk about it later. What you should have done. Chapman is one. He's fearless, man. And he's got a great arm. He's a great athlete. Chapman's tough. Kaylee's tough. I like Ottavino. I think Ottavino's got some. Ottavino's good. And if we, Severino, we get him back, and we get Betances back. See, because we got kids like Jonathan Loaiza, who was 98, but the coaches get him and they ruin him. They turn these kids into pussycats. True, but the game's on the line. The game's on the line with Chapman, right? True, but you want to know something? The way the games are managed today, yes, Paxton wants to go into 7, but he's got to get the feel for the pace and the rhythm of how he's gonna attack. Because right now he slows the game down. He's afraid to. I don't know. I don't want to use the word afraid or scared, but I don't think that's proper. I just think he's thinking too much right now. I think he's a bulldog. He don't feel like Paxton right now. They got him throwing breakables on fastball counts. I mean, 2, 3, 4 breakables in a row. They don't let the kid get into a rhythm with his four seamer because they're trying to change in the way he's attacking. That's what's happening with the analytics. And so you're turning this animal, Paxton, into a pussycat. He pitched 8 innings at the beginning of the season against Boston on one hitter. He was throwing 4. He was in a zone that was sick. Now maybe he's hurt. Maybe you don't have to push off because he did have tendonitis in his knees. I think his left knee, his right knee or his left knee. Maybe he does. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe Paxton has. What time is it? I got to go to bed. It's got to be 1:45, right? It's got to be like 1:45. But so we went the gamut. So 1:40, I go to bed. So that's where we are. I just think that Paxton. It's like look at Jacob deGrom, right? Jacob deGrom. I never would have given him the Cy Young Award this year, but he is one hell of a pitcher, right? Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer is nasty. Nasty, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer pitched with a broken nose. Max Scherzer is absolutely nasty. Max Scherzer. Jacob deGrom attacks that strike zone like nobody's business. He's a hell of a pitcher. He's a hell of a pitcher, Jacob deGrom. It's to me, pitching is just as much up here as it is the biomechanical aspect of it. The release, the finger pressure, the grip. But it's approach, like hitting is approach. You can use your hands. Right now, I guess Domingo Germán, I guess, right? I'm not, I think he's got great stuff, but I'm not enamored with Domingo Germán. Domingo, I think. Severino, I thought, was going to be the bulldog, And then when you got Paxton's got all this. He does this, and then he brings it in. Paxton is nasty. He's got deception with a 97, 98, 100. Paxton could be some pitcher, but he tries to be perfect. He's in his head, and I don't think he believes. I don't think he trusts the coaches as much either. He holds onto the ball too long. He doesn't allow himself to get into a rhythm to throw the baseball. Everything is, he doesn't look like Paxton right now. I don't think he feels like Paxton. So that's what's going on. I'm going to get out of here. So I'm just doing a blog. I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I just think Paxton. I think, like you said, he doesn't want to. He don't want to give up homers, which I understand. Pitching in Yankee Stadium, could be tough, but you got to throw the ball inside. It's fastball command. To me, it's fastball command. The game pitching is if you can't throw your fastball for strikes, if you can't command your fastball and put it on the black, up, down, in and out, maybe off the plate, put it where you want, basically, right? If you can't do that, I don't know if you should be in the bigs. Unless you're Burt Blyleven, you could drop a deuce like nobody, you know. But anyway, and even Burt Blyleven on his Twitter feed said it all starts with fastball command, and he had arguably one of the greatest curveballs in the history of baseball was Burt Blyleven. He had one of the greatest curveballs in the history of baseball, Burt Blyleven. And he said on his Twitter feed, it all starts with fastball command. It all starts with fastball command. If you can't command your fastball, you're going to be up, down. You'll be good one game because you're like Domingo Germán. He had a great curveball against Boston, and then he didn't have it against Toronto, and he didn't last. Fastball command guarantees a lot. It's a great foundation. Paxton needs some. Bob Gibson was unbelievable. Unbelievable. To me, one of the greatest pitchers ever to live, Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, Steve Carlton. Unbelievable. Jim Palmer, unbelievable. Fergie Jenkins, Juan Marichal. There's so many great pitchers. But Bob Gibson to me was unbelievable. But anyway, I'm gonna go to. It's almost 2 hours, and I'm on too long. So I'll try to make it on tomorrow night. Hopefully, I'll be able to come on tomorrow night. I'm gonna try. Ever, absolutely, John. 100%. 100%. So I'm gonna get out of here. John, thank you for the visit. Jonathan, thank you for the visit. God bless you all in the room on Facebook Live. God bless you all in the room on. Good night, John. God bless you. God bless you all in the room on YouTube Live. This is Frankie Russo. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. God bless. Absolutely, John. God bless. Thank you for your service, right? The men and women of the United States Armed Forces, for providing me with the freedom that I love so I can do what I love to do, and that's broadcast. So God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. Just want to make that, I want to say that. God bless the greatest country on the planet, America. I love my country. God bless America. And God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. This is Frankie Russo. I should be on tomorrow night. I'm going to try my best. This is Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. This is Frankie Russo, and I'll see you in the future. I'll see you all at YouTube Live.
How you doing, Frankie?
I'll see you all at YouTube Live. I'll see you all in the future.
I'm checking in. I'm just turning on now my YouTube